Ojova. First, let me take this time to say a very big thank you to everyone that contacted me and asked that I bring back the show on air. It could be a result of a transition in between a country to another, there has to be a settling down, and we are here, and that's all that counts. And today we're going to be talking about the prior consideration for parenting. What are the things that you need to talk about? What are the things you need to know? What are the things you need to take cognizance of before you start thinking of parenting? Well, I say before you start thinking, because I think that before you even say you are considering parenting, then you should have thought about these things. You should have taken note of them. And the first thing we'll be talking about is who am I parenting with? First and foremost, we know that parenting includes every of the activities involved in bringing up a child. So before you start thinking of bringing up a child, there are some things you need to put into consideration. And the first thing that I think you should put into consideration is who am I parenting with? That's very, very important, Who am I raising my child with? Who is going to be co-parenting with me? Who is going to be raising this child with me? Who exactly is that person? You need to take cognizance of that. You need to take note of that. You need to ask as many questions as possible to about who you are parenting with. And under this, we are going to be having some discussions like the behavioral trait of this person that you intend to parent with. What are the behaviors? What are the behaviors, the subtle ones that are not evident, that may not be easily noticed? What are the behaviors that this person has? What are the traits, the behavioral traits of this person? Is this person friendly? Is this person honest? Is this person conscientious? Is this person an introvert or an extrovert? Is this person helpful? And is this person empathetic? These are the things you should not shy away from. You should take note of this very important behavioral traits before you say, okay, this is who I'm going to be raising a child with. Because at the end of the day, the child has of picking the attributes of their parents. These days children learn more by what they see, not by what they hear or what you tell them. They learn from what they see more than what they hear. And so you should take note of the behavior of the person you would be raising a child with. Please don't forget that when we are talking about raising a child, we are not thinking about the immediate gratification for us. The immediate gratification could be the fact that you have a beautiful child that everybody wants to carry. You're talking about the future. How helpful will the child be to the future? What asset will the child be an asset to the society in future, or would the child be a liability? So in order to prevent being a liability to the nation, to the world in future, you have to take cognizance of whose behavioral pattern is likely to be apparent in the life of that child. Another thing you need to consider when choosing who you'll be parenting with is the genetic trait of this person. Now, please don't forget that when we're talking about genetic traits, we're talking about the specific characteristics of an individual. Please note that genetic traits can either be qualitative, and that is when we're talking about the eye color of the child, and it could also be quantitative, and this is when we're talking about the height or the blood pressure of this individual you will be parenting with, co-parenting with. Why do you have to take note of all this? Because there is a chance that your child, in fact, your child will definitely have some of these traits. They will definitely be. So if you are not comfortable with this trait, then you know what to do. You understand me? But if it's something you can work with, if it's something you can handle, it's just good that you know what you're getting yourself into before taking a step into it. So when you have enough knowledge about it, it helps you to prepare for the future. It helps you to get ready for the parenting activities. Please note that while behavioral traits are acquired in a child's lifetime, the genetic traits are inherited. What is the blood group of this person that you would be co-parenting with? I can't emphasize this enough, that it is important that you know the blood group of the person you would be parenting with. A lot of times we allow fantasy to cover up for the most important questions that we need to ask ourselves when we are courting, which is in the biblical word, the spiritual word courting. When we are dating, a lot of times we leave the things that we ought to talk about for the things that are not so important, and then we get carried away by the not so important things that we leave the ones that are so essential that we need to talk about. Now, there are 4 main blood groups that they are the major ones that we know. We have the A, we have the B, and we have the AB, and then we have the O. These are determined by the genes children inherit from their parents. it's just important that you know those things, because it only prepares you for what you are getting into. You know you have a rare blood group, then you know that, okay, if anything happens, this person I'm getting married to has a better, maybe a more available blood group, and then it's not going to be a problem if the child breaks down and the child needs a particular type of blood. It's not going to be a problem for us donating blood. You get what I'm talking about. So it's very important that you know the blood group of this person you are getting, you're not getting married to now, you're raising a child with, because not every married couple intends to raise children. Also, apart from the blood group, you should know that your genotype majorly is grouped into AA, AS, and SS. Be cool, no, I beg you in the name of Jesus. Take cognizance of this, please. A lot of couples have brought to the world children untimely. They have come with a destiny, but then their life has been cut short because the parents did not take note of this issue, this genetic issue, this genotype issue before getting married. AA can marry AA. AA can marry AS. If AA and AS gets married, there is a chance they're going to have AA as children, and also a chance they will give birth to AS, which is still okay. But please, AS and AS, please save the world. Don't get married. Save the child, save yourself the stress. Get to know your partner's genotype before you go into a marriage that will end up where you would end up parenting together. SS, please do yourself a favor. Don't marry anyone who is AS. Look for a brother that is AA. AS, please be generous enough to marry those who are AS. Be cool, please, so that we will help each other, and then the world will be a better place to live in. Also, you also have to consider the health condition of the person you will be parenting with. Ask questions. Please ask questions. Make sure you ask questions. I'm not trying to say that when you get to know, you run away. No. But then it helps you to know what you're getting yourself into. It helps you to plan ahead. It helps you to know what to do at a particular time. Also, if possible, apart from the health condition of the person you're getting married to, try to know the history, the health history of his or her family. Because she may not have it, but then your child may inherit it from the grandfather because it's already in line. So you need to know who you are getting married to when it comes to a health condition that is inherent within the family, so that you know how to prepare for it, especially when you start making babies. Apart from that, what is the compatibility in parenting styles? This is one issue I see that people don't talk about these days. You just go into marriage and you start making babies without talking about how we intend to raise our children. Talk about it now that you can. And if you're already in marriage and you've already made babies, it's not too late to sit your partner down and reason how the best way you can raise your children. But if you are yet to get married, I congratulate you. It is a high time for you to sit your partner down and talk about your parenting styles. What are the things you would love us to teach our children? What is the compatibility in our spiritual life? Because we don't want to end up confusing these innocent children. One party telling them this is the way, the other party telling them this is the way. We are just going to confuse these people, those little ones. We do not want that. So please, talk about your parenting compatibility. What are the things? How do we raise these children? How would you raise your child? This is how I would raise my child. Is there any compatibility between this? How can we reach a common goal? These are the things that we need to talk about when we start thinking of parenting, so we don't become everywhere. You don't parents can be so confusing at times that you don't even know. Daddy is like this, daddy has this idea, mommy has this idea, then what are you teaching the children? This is teaching them A, this is teaching them B. You end up confusing the life of the child. Please save yourself the stress, save the child, your children, the mental stress as well. Talk about these things. Let's agree on the way we are going to raise up our children. When I am correcting our child, it is not the right time for you to support the child. You understand? These are the things we should talk about going forward. Now we've talked about who you are parenting with. Hello, let's talk about who you are. Yes, let's face the truth of it. Who are you? Yes, we talked about the behavioral pattern and trait of the person you will be getting married to, but what are the behaviors you possess that may be destructive to the life of the child? That you know that if this child goes ahead to pick this behavior, you will not be proud of that child later. We need to talk about it. Because a lot of times it's easy for us to pick out the log in another person's eyes than to look at ourselves and say, okay, Oluwajoba, this is what I am doing that I know if my child should do, I will not be happy with. You need to sit yourself down, do a life appraisal, do a good analysis of your lifestyle, your behavior. If you're proud of yourself on that, click it, fine. If it is questionable, a lot of people have been saying this and this and this about me. If I have a child, will I be happy to see my children behaving in the same way? If you are having a doubt about that, it is time for you to change. It is time to change. Like, I know it's not easy, but then we can help ourselves from now. Before you bring a child into the world who sees what you're doing and live your lifestyle after you, it's just important that we take that step right now. So if you have this habit of smoking excessively, drinking excessively, gossiping, and being a talkative, you talk too much, you don't even know when to stop. You know that you are lazy. God, you know you are dirty. 3 days boxers you've not washed. 3 days pants you've not washed, you are still wearing. Black can be on you for 4 days, you will not wash because it is color black. Dirty people, we need to talk about it. You need to change yourself. Are you a snob? People talk to you as kids. I don't have the time. If you like your own child to have that attribute, well, who am I to say no? But if it is questionable and you feel like this is not what you want to be evident in the life of your child, then you can work on your attributes and your behaviors and your traits before you start making children that will start living life the same way you have lived yours or you are living yours. Did you nag? One thing I've noticed these days is how some men nag. Oh God. I don't want to talk about it. Do you nag as a man, as a woman? Do you nag? Did you talk about the same thing over and over, even when all the parties involved have forgotten about it? You still go back to it and still try to pet on this, pet on that. Work on it. It's not good. Work on it, because personally for me, I don't like a child that nags. I don't like it. The only way you grow up is evaluating yourself, like check yourself, give yourself feedback. Am I okay? Am I okay? If you're not okay, work on yourself. Some people just like empathy. They cannot feel for people what they are feeling. They just want to gratify themselves. They want to be okay. As long as they are okay, what other people are going through does not concern them. Sister, you're going to give birth to a child that will be like that. A child that will not care if you are selling pure water to pay his school fee. You're going to give birth to a child like that. A child that will not even care if you are suffering or not. All they want is what they need at that particular time. You need to work on yourself, honestly. Let's be factual now. You need to work on yourself. You need to work on the behaviors that you know you won't like to see in your children. I've said too much for a day. But before I go, another thing that we should talk about, we should think about, we should work towards before taking up the parenting responsibility is gaining more knowledge, more parental knowledge. No one is an island of knowledge. You need to get from here, but make sure that where you're getting this knowledge from is from a reliable source. We know that parenting starts from pregnancy and partially ends when the children gets married. Note that I said it partially ends when the children gets married. Yes, we know that when they get married, there should be a little involvement. There should be less involvement. Let me put it that way. There should be less involvement because you want them to make decisions themselves. You understand, and make their own family and grow into what they have been designed to become as a result of the union. You don't want to be all nosy. You don't want to be all in their own marriage. So your involvement must be less. But then there are times that they have a need for a particular advice, and then they will come to you and ask for those advices. What do you want to tell them? How do you want to lead them? How do you want to encourage them when they start going through the same thing that you went through, or going through something different? This is why you need to gain more knowledge, get more knowledge, more parenting knowledge. And how can you do that? Yeah, you're on the right path. When you subscribe to channels like this, parenting channels like this, and you go online, you know the world is a global place now, and it's easy for you to see people who are passionate about parenting and who come online and give you advices when it comes to parenting, and show you how to do some particular parenting activities. There are a lot online. They are everywhere. You can always go online, search for this parenting groups, and gain more knowledge, get more knowledgeable when it comes to parenting. Learn, and keep learning. Nobody is an island. Nobody knows it all. No one knows it all. We all keep learning. A pastor says, even when you're dying, make sure you learn the right way of dying so you can die well. Well, we all laughed that out, but there is a truth in that. You need to keep learning. There are so many things we need to unlearn so that we can relearn the right thing. There are so many things that we learned when we were younger, because the dispensation is different. We need to unlearn those things and relearn the things that are appropriate for this dispensation, this generation, this times that we are in, the era that we are in. So we have to unlearn, we have to relearn, and then we have to keep learning. It's a process. There is never an end to learning. The only time you stop learning is when you are dead, not even when you are dying. You see, so we need to keep learning and keep improving on ourselves. And how do we get this knowledge? I already said, please subscribe to parenting channels. Please, I beg you, subscribe. Look for them everywhere, but make sure that you are subscribing to channels that are verified, where you can get reasonable advices, not advices that will suit you, not advices that is, you just get it and this is the kind of advice I want for my children because that is who I am. Go to pages where they will tell you the truth, even when it hurts. You're becoming a better parent to it, and you're gaining more knowledge. Look for channels as such, parenting channels as such, websites that can help you. Subscribe, please. I take God, beg you, subscribe to this channel. I beg you in the name of God, please subscribe to this channel, please, and please subscribe. Like that. Yes, click it. It's on. Yes, click it like that. Thank you. God bless you. So please subscribe to these channels and keep learning. Also, you need some parenting support networks. You can do this on your own. Parenting can be really disturbing, really depressing. Parenting is burdensome. You need people to share this burden with. There are parents who have already gone through the process that you are presently in. There are parents who are going through the same thing as you. Maybe you're feeling like, I am the only one in this kind of a situation, and you feel like, oh, my world is over. Darling, your world is not over. You're not the only one going through what you are going through. When you belong to a parenting support network, they come together. It's a group where people of like minds and passion come together and discuss the things that are happening within their families and give you ways to heal, ways to help you out of that situation. Find local new parent groups around you. Get a parenting club or create one if you can. Get professionals to give you talks and encourage you. Find pregnancy classes around you. prenatal exercise classes. Get them just to make sure that you belong to a parental support group or a parenting support group, whatever you want to call it. Just to make sure that you are not alone, because you need people to carry this burden together with you. And I pray that God will help you. Next week, we'll be talking about how to emotionally prepare for parenting. I told you parenting can be stressful and can be burdensome as well as the person. But how do we prepare emotionally for parenting? How do we set ourselves in the right path so that when disturbances come, when issues arise, we're able to stand tall and say, excuse me, I'm already prepared for you. This is how I'm going to handle you. And you handle it and you become a better person. So next week, we're going to be talking about how to emotionally prepare for parenthood. Before we leave today, I am going to bless you with this beautiful parenting nugget by the Preacher Man. We got this through the Preacher Man's Portal Network, and it's amazing. You can get a lot of beautiful nuggets on his page. And let's go. It says, don't make flimsy excuses for the incompetencies of your children in their presence. When they fail, show them that failure is not a destination, but only a distraction on the road to success. Success is a journey, and those who succeed do so against any odds. Breed children that will be able to take up challenges and not give up. Even if they fail, they keep trying. And this is the end of our discussion today on the PRW show. Catch you next week when we'll be discussing about emotionally preparing for parenthood. Till then, I remain your beautiful anchor person, Oluwadele Oluwajola. Before you go, subscribe. Press the subscribe button. You're not the arm person. It doesn't hurt. Please press the subscribe button and see you next week on the same channel. This is the PRW show with Joba.